Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Just going to do a quick audio test before we get started. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. We're just here loading in to, well, not our first session, it's the practice session before that. So the timetable for today, currently right now it is 5 to 9. At 9 AM we're going to be jumping into a street stock race at Langley. Now I am not that quick around here, to be honest. I don't know why. I'm really quick around Southern Nationals. So I built my oval rating up
the leader's just done it, 17.2.
But I can't quite find that same pace at Langley. But anyway, I think we should be alright.
Speed limit is 48 kilometers per hour.
And even then, we can finish. I actually was quite slow, and I still finished in the top 6, thanks to the fact that there was a lot of carnage. Remember, this is a rookie series, so you've got to expect lots of carnage. So overall, I think that was pretty decent. So obviously, no overlay today because we're doing some racing. We've got. So we have. What do you call it? As after this, we're going to finish. This is going to finish at about 20 past 9, and then at 9:30 we're going to jump into the SimLab Production Car Challenge. There's a 40-minute race at Summit Point with a pit stop, and that is that. So should be pretty fun. Looking about finishing about 10:30 today's stream, so we'll see how it is. Now again, weirdly with the display capture, it looks a little bit laggy on my screen. However, it actually isn't. It looks laggy on OBS, but then I look at it in YouTube, and it actually looks okay. So what I'm just gonna try switching over to an iRacing capture.
That lap time was 18.1.
And then I'll see.
P3.
The problem with an iRacing capture is how it does things. So let's turn off display capture. Yeah. Okay. So we're not using an iRacing capture then. So yeah, we're gonna try and get some fast laps in. I've sort of forgotten how to drive this track because I haven't done a lot of racing this week. I've done a lot in the SimLab Production Car Challenge. I've done 3 races in that. I've only done 1 street stock though, so I haven't done an awful lot in it this week. Sliding all over the place. We did hit the wall there. That's not so good. Obviously, this is only practice. We're not even in the race session
yet. You're
yet.
this lap in this session. You're currently 0.1 off the pace.
So the secret here I found is basically, unlike Southern National where you don't really need to use the brake, here I think it is beneficial to use the brake. You go full power in and then brake in time for the apex. Also, the pit lane here is basically borderline on the racing line because it is slightly quicker to go slightly below this yellow line. There's not a penalty for doing so, you can do it.
The leader has just done 16.8.
But really we're looking for 16.7.
Your fastest lap today.
I was able to set a 16.7 in the race, so my pace is definitely there. But 16.7 is what the quick guys are doing. So if I can do that, I can prove that I'm on the pace here versus everywhere else. And by the looks of it, thanks to the race I did 2 days ago, I'm already setting new bests based on my practice lap, which was a 16.9. That was my best in practice. I didn't manage to do anything better than that. So hopefully, yeah, we already did a 16.8, so that's good enough for second place in the session. And obviously that shows that I have at least got some pace, which is what I want. Really, we're aiming for a 16.7. This car gets very tight around this track. That's why you need to brake a bit more than you think, maybe. If you try to accelerate too early, this thing just goes straight on. It's not best. So what we want to do, there you go, just dive it. So basically just full throttle, like you're sending it, and then brake. That's kind of how you seem to gain a lot of pace around here. It's not always quicker at other ovals trying to send it. It's only quicker if you're trying to get a place on most ovals. But at this oval, it seems to be quicker all the way round, which is interesting. So we're doing alright actually. This is going to be a new best again. So that's a couple in a row, and there we go. We're up to the 16.7s. So that's really good. You can see there, look, I didn't brake that time. We didn't really gain much time. We sort of gained it and then lost it. So it is slightly quicker, I think, to just run on the edge. However, be careful you don't run on too much on the edge, otherwise you will hit the side. I think that is it for our practice then. I think you can see there the times. To be fair, this isn't a very competitive server. at the moment, this practice. Obviously, this is only practice as well. But if we can set something like that in qualifying, that'll put us towards the sharp end of the grid, which is really good because my iRacing demands that.
Speed limit.
My iRacing's about 26.50 or something, I think, which is really needed. In the Street Stock Series, there's very few people with an overall iRacing higher than that. There's generally, I think, there's only about 3 or 4 guys.
15 minutes left. That's
that
15
race
minutes.
So we'll see how we can do. We've got 2 minutes now until we start this session. Just going to make sure it ain't lagging. If I just refresh it, it should load it up in HD mode on YouTube. I don't know why, but my streams always aren't HD on the live streaming platform. But then if I go on to, there you go, the HD is available now. So I'll grab a quick look at it now. I'll put it back to the original. But it being in HD allows me to access it in 60 FPS. Although my internet's not coping with that. So, because also my internet is probably being a bit overloaded at the moment. There you go. 720p is okay in 60 FPS, and it's looking all right. Obviously, it's a little bit pixelated in 720p. Oh, it's gone back down to 360. That's why. But the actual video quality, it's because this thing can't really cope with streaming and iRacing and running video at the same time. So I'll just run it at 360p. But yeah, by the looks of it, it's not lagging. Apparently, it's running at 60 FPS according to my OBS. So we'll see what happens. But there we go. My ping's all right as well. But yeah, I think we should be on for a pretty fun little race. Now, there's only 18 people in the server, so it's going to be 2 splits. 2 quite empty splits by the look of it, because there's 21 people registered at the moment. It is now 9 o'clock, so we should get the invitation to join literally in a couple of seconds. It should just pop through, hopefully. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. Still waiting, there we go. Right, let's go ahead and click race. Also, I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Tomorrow we're doing some flying for the first time in like 2 weeks. We'll take the Airbus out on FSX. That should be pretty fun. There was a long event on this morning I was thinking of doing, but it started at 7 AM. Nah, not on a Saturday. I mean, I like getting up early, but not that early.
Checkered flags out, P1.
Because like, you'd have to get up at like 6 for that. 6:30, which is a bit much. Okay, so we're number 2 in the server. That was kind of expected. This car number 1, he is very quick. He's a little bit quicker than me, actually. So I think we need to finish in the top 5, I think. Probably top 4 in this race to gain iRating. Again, this is just an oval series. I can't progress any higher than D class. So safety rating doesn't matter in this series.
That's 2 minutes left.
I'm on that cushion. I'm on that 4.99 safety rating cushion. And if something goes wrong, it doesn't really matter. So safety rating is not thing really. All we got to do is basically avoid crashes for the sake of iRating. And then again, iRating, it's probably a little bit inflated because of the fact that obviously the way iRating works, if you win, you gain iRating, and obviously if you're only racing against people that are worse than you, so they're like 1500, 1600 iRating, you're always going to gain iRating, which is what you have here in the street stocks. Apart from a couple of people on 3,000, 4,000, and then the same sort of 2,500 as me. There's only about 5 or 6 of them. Apart from that, everyone else is generally either a rookie or very slow. So
you're now 0.9 quicker than second.
So my overall rating is definitely wrong. Because I'm just quick in this car, right? Wait! This car is very loose. I don't know why. Safety rating doesn't count during practice, I've learned. I've looked at the iRacing sporting code. It counts for 0% in practice, 50% qualifying, and then 100% during the race. But I think it does still count during practice. I don't know. But there was that one episode of the Cinema Production Car Challenge at Lime Rock Park where I got bumped. And I got 4x in practice and I lost safety rating despite only having 4 in the race.
Your last lap time was 17.1.
So I'm pretty sure it does still count. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, this thing definitely, that's why I'm often slow in qualifying in this car though. That's one thing that will happen. I'll be very slow in qualifying, I'll have to build it back up in the race because
P2,
I'm rubbish driving this car on cold tyres. And the tyres do take a good 4 or 5 laps to heat up. And normally they're in their peak about lap 12.
25.9.
Let's get that guy ahead a little bit of bump.
P2.
Why not? So we've actually got 2nd place, so obviously we're still okay on cold tyres then. Obviously not everybody would have gone out in practice, although I think most people set a lap, yeah. And obviously this being the time of morning that it is, there won't be a very competitive server. A lot of these guys might be rookies and things, so you can see we've got plenty of 17s going on. Really, I can generally do at least a 17-0. That was a 16-9 there, so my best ever is a 16-7.
All clear on pit exit. Okay, Morgan, we've got 2 laps to set a decent time.
But that does definitely require warm tyres. So the solution here is basically just brake really hard and then go, and you get a good run out of the last corner, and that braking warms up the tyres. It's a good way to get as much out of qualifying as possible. However, I've already messed up the start of this first lap because the car was really tight, and that's one thing that does happen. This car does get extremely tight in qualifying, and basically any time, to be honest. It's not the best of cars to drive this, really. As I said, until the tyres warm out, it's basically undrivable. So
P2, you've just done a 17.2.
So that was absolutely shocking. So we need to be doing a little bit better than that. But it seems as if I think this lap will make amends for that. We've gone a bit quicker. We've gone a good 0.3 of a second quicker.
Kraus, 17.2.
And that puts us P3 on the grid. So that's okay, 16.9. As I said, I'm pretty terrible on cold tyres. And obviously our first lap was shocking. But there we go. So in the end, look, we're only a 10th off. Those top two I do know are very quick. They're regulars in this series, so we'll see what we can do. But starting from P3, as long as I don't get knocked down, starting on the inside, like at Southern National, starting on the inside is key. Because you can get a jump on second, and then obviously they have to go on the outside, you have to go on the inside, and you can pass them. So actually starting third is usually a benefit over starting second, so we'll see what happens there. But as I said, yeah, I didn't have that extra 10th of pace. We'll wait and see what everyone else does. We've got a server, there's only 10 people in it, because one guy hasn't connected. So obviously, unlike videos where I can just pause it and be like, I'll see you on the grid, sadly we can't do that here in a stream. Streams are unedited, of course. So we just have to sit back and relax and chill. That's all we can do. But there you go. Should be alright. I hope everyone watching does enjoy the stream, of course. But yeah, we'll just be sitting here, chilling. And also, guys, let me know if you like iRacing streams, or would you rather I did it as videos, you know? Because I could just make this as 2 separate videos, rather than a stream. Obviously doing a stream this morning, but, you know. Right, car number 4 has not qualified. Oh, car number 4 has been kicked out of the server, that's why. For bad internet connection. Okay. That's interesting. Looks like this server is over in New Jersey. So it's Eastern US, this server. So obviously a lot of us have really poor pings. So yeah, we're actually going down to a server of 9 cars now, because 2 guys have had internet trouble. So that's interesting. So that's at least 2 cars. Okay, there you go. So that guy's back connected, so hopefully he doesn't get kicked out again. So back up to 10 cars. It looks like it will be a 10 car, this one. See what happens. So have a look at the ping, and also the quality as well. The quality of the connection, which is that one there. Generally, it's always 99 or 100, although if it drops a bit more than that, then you've got issues. Yeah, the ping's very high. Look, there's someone over in Australia, look, 300 ping. So that's they might be a bit jumpy. Obviously, no matter what your internet speed is, it does also depend on where the server is. Obviously, it's over in the Eastern US, which is okay for me. Generally, I think they have 4 server locations. So I think they have the Netherlands, West US, East US, and Australia. So obviously, if like I've got a server in Australia or West US, my ping tends to be quite high. East US is generally okay, and then obviously the Netherlands is the best server for me. But I think they're the only 4 servers that iRacing, like the 4 locations that iRacing has. Right, so we're still P3 on the grid. No one else has been able to qualify, actually, since those 7. I'm surprised car number 4, after being kicked out, hasn't just tried to set a qualifying lap, but I guess. I mean, the thing is, qualifying in this series does make a difference, because the carnage is always at the back. Well, now I said that, I bet there'll be carnage in the front 4, but normally the back is where the carnage is, because that's where all the slow cars and the rookies are. That's, as I said, you know, in my Southern National videos on this, in this series, what am I trying to say? Basically, all of the carnage is when you lap cars, because they're the slow ones, and they're the ones that are generally rookies. It's always then. It's always when you lap people. However, I don't think there's
That's
any
the end of the
rookies in
session.
here.
P3.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the back of most people's cars, so I won't know. It says on the back of their cars, you've either got an orange stripe for D class or a red for rookie. There's no class higher than D in this particular series. As soon as you're C class and above, you can't access this series anymore. Let's go to the grid. I've got 2 D class guys ahead of us. I don't know about the guys behind us. So we're starting P3, which is pretty decent. I would rather P3 than P2, so that's nice. So we're looking at probably finishing the top 4 to get into my rating here today.
The track temp
so as long as we can stay there, we'll be alright. Looking at lap times, I think anyone lower than, well, 6th and lower is really slow. 5th could probably go either way, because people set in 17.1. So I set 17.1 in qualifying my first race, and then I was really quick in the race. Because anything within a 17.1 still allows you to be very quick during the race. It just means that you're very slow on cold tyres. So yeah, basically 17.1 is the sort of lap that you set when you're very slow on cold tyres, but you could potentially go quicker. And then anyone lower than that, yeah, generally they are just slow. And then the quickest these things can go, I think, is about a 16.6, I'm not sure. Now, I haven't really been able to go quick to warm up my tyres. That's what I normally like to do, is leave a gap and then just sprint. But these guys ahead, the leaders, aren't really doing that. There we go. Great, good opportunity in there. Now, also a little tip, starting 3rd gear in this series, because you don't have to shift up as many times then on the start. Meaning that you don't, even though you maybe get a bit of, not, even if you think maybe it's not quite optimal starting gear, the fact that you have to change up obviously limits your acceleration, so starting in 3rd. Also, it provides a bit more of a smooth getaway because you've got lower RPMs, so it's a good idea. Right,
okay,
go on the 3 car.
Go.
They go, 3 cars gone. We've got a pretty decent start there. The number 1 car is not going to be able to duck underneath. This is what I mean, but
right side.
Starting P3 is actually a benefit because we're now up into 2nd after that. It's definitely a benefit starting here. And now I can hopefully follow this guy and try and improve my pace, because that's what I need to be doing.
P2.
But we had a pretty good start, we're up into P2, and now we just need to we're going to basically be like this now for the next 20 laps, just following each other around unless I have some pace to get into the lead. And then from there, the aim is obviously avoid all the carnage of lap traffic.
The leader's just done a 16.8.
Remember the pit,
16.9.
the pit exit here goes out directly into the track, so obviously that's something to keep an eye on. 3 cars gone a bit wide here. I think I am quicker than the 3 car over the course of a race stint. We were quicker than them in practice, so we'll see.
P2, that
not
lap time was
before this race session,
17.0.
when we were doing a good 5 minutes at least. So hopefully that will come true in the race. We've got a 2nd gap now behind, so that's really good. That's building. We've got a slow car up ahead. Must have been involved in an accident or something.
Sorry about that, William.
Oh, they go, whoa, hang a minute. These guys are 7th and 6th. Oh boy. They must have had an accident then. They must be further back now, unless that means only 9. So we've got 10. Great. So we're lapping up to 10th now. That means 10 cars start this race, and 10 are still kind of here. You can see this 7 car I don't think was involved in an issue. It is just that slow. None of these guys are rookies though. So wait.
0.2.
Oh boy.
Car inside.
Not good.
In the middle. Player low.
Only 4 incidents. Only 4. No, only 2. Sorry. So we're all right. We haven't lost the position.
P3.
It wasn't enough contact. We got given 0, and then because the other guy span out, that was 2. Because he would have got 2 incidents. Wow. How did he lose it on that high line? I mean, seriously, he was really high, and he somehow lost it from that. I don't know how. That's really annoying. I've lost. So that 2nd gap I built up over 3rd is gone, and the fact that I was trailing 1st place is now also gone. So that's a bit of a shame. I'm gonna try and get away now. The thing is, I don't have anyone to follow now, and he does. Oh boy! Please stay up there, car 11. Thank you. Oh boy! Car number 11's hit the blue car behind. We're all right, man. We've got some reckless racing here. I mean, as I said, this is a rookie series, so to be fair, it's kind of it kind of does what it says on the tin, really. It's a rookie series, that equals carnage. Now, the 3 car, obviously the 4 car's quite quick, and just got involved in a crash. They're being quite hard to lap, which is allowing me to catch back up with the leader here. Obviously, that may have hampered my chances of winning this race, that little thing. I don't think we really got any damage. We'll know around lap 20 sometimes, when I was here 4 weeks ago anyway. Whenever I got involved in carnage, this thing blew up within 20 laps. It never did it around any other track, but it seemed to overheat around Langley quite easily.
Fastest lap.
Right, hopefully this guy stays low. Please, thank you. Everybody got out of the way, nice. Now I'm expecting this guy to try and get out of the way if he could. You can see there, look, that we just laughed. That guy coming out of the pits was in 5th.
Right side.
Like, you know,
you've just done a 17.0. Clear high.
It's kind of mad, but that's how much carnage happens in these races. Like, even if I was really slow, all I would have to do is not hit somebody, and I'd probably be guaranteed to be in the top 5 right now and gaining iRating. That's why my iRating is a bit inflated.
The lap time was at 16.8.
Because honestly, until you start getting an iRating like 5,000 or something, you can basically gain it.
What's your speed?
As long as you finish in the top third of the field.
km per hour.
You're pretty much guaranteed. The only reason
Fastest lap for
is if you're in a field where everyone else is on 2,000 and you're on 6,000, and you have to finish first to get iRating. But generally, until you get to that high level, you can just gain it every time, even by just doing a pretty calm race.
Your lap time was
we've got a lot of carnage up here with lap traffic, so that's
okay, Morgan, we're gaining on the car in front.
This is what I mean. This series is won literally by that 7 car. That was the one that spun out in front of me. It looks really, really slow and unstable. P9 looks might only having a few issues,
right
so something that have had more crashes than that. So that's showing, yeah. We've got some pretty crazy stuff going on here. This is what I mean. The lap traffic really decides who wins this race in the rookie series. Oh boy, they've touched, and the 3 car has lost a bit of time there. Didn't go around. Obviously, that 3 car, and then the 1 car, sorry, has had quite a bit of carnage go its way. It's hit at least 2 lap cars now. This race.
16.9.
Obviously, I've only had an issue with 1 lap car, so I'm okay. Obviously, it'd be nice to win. However, by the looks of it, this 3 car has got it nailed. We're coming up on half. Wait, whoa! Wait, I did not expect that 3 car to just suddenly stop then. It really, really slowed down.
That lap was at 17.1.
To the point now where the 1 car is actually below us. It's close. So this is... Okay, the 4 car's going to get out of the way. Good. So it's now just the battle of the 3 leaders again. But that's the thing, you have some awesome racing in this series. Like, you have the rookie carnage, so that mixes with the actual good racing that you have. It's normally only with 3 or 4 people, but it is really good racing. Oh, I've been caught behind car number 11 there a little bit.
They're outside.
There you go, they got out of the way, they're being good.
Time was at 17.0.
Car number 3 here going really, really low there. They've lost a bit of pace, car number 3, definitely. I'm right on the back of them now. I'm giving them little taps. Wait, this is getting close. This is not good. This 3 car is suddenly losing a lot of pace. Although maybe it'll come back to them, I don't know. That last lap was really slow because of that. Hopefully they've regained their pace now. Right, onwards then. We're still P2. P3 is literally right behind us, so that is something to keep an eye on. We're setting some all right laps now. It looks like it's filtered out again now after that little incident of the 3 car going very slowly. We haven't got any lap cars now for a bit. I think there's been so much carnage in this race. They've only really got like 8 cars left going around the circuit. So it's actually quite, and obviously we're 3 of them, so there's only 5 other cars to bump into. So there's not really a lot to do, which is good. There's not a lot of carnage. Obviously this series can have a grid as large as 18. So obviously
that was 16.9.
You know, 18 people is quite a lot. That's a lot to be bumping into on a course this small, but 11 and then obviously down to 10, and then there's 1 car in the pits. I think there's 9. Okay, there's someone exiting the pits. It's that same car, the 7 car. We're all right though. However, we were forced a bit high.
Coming up on the inside.
And we're being cautious, and we were forced a bit high. That's allowed the one car to get underneath us. That's us back to third, that is, I think.
Hold your line.
We were forced high there
Clear inside.
by that car coming out of the pit, so I was a little bit cautious. Because obviously, if I took this line, I'd slam straight into them.
0.3. That lap time was 17.6.
Oh, that is one problem with this Langley circuit, though. Like, I know you're not meant to be making pit stops. That's why. Like, obviously, really, you shouldn't be making a pit stop in a race this short. But because of the carnage, people do. And obviously, the pit stop exit line kind of interferes with the racing line a little bit. Oh, it's really annoying. Second place all race, and then suddenly we're back to third. That's really unfortunate. Anyway. Right, that's really unfortunate, that is. But never mind, back to third place. Unless some carnage happens now, I don't think we're going to be gaining that. I think I may have eaten up my tyres, to be honest. Maybe the reason the one car was a bit slower than us at the start, maybe they were saving their tyres. But I am losing touch with them a little bit now, honestly. If that car hadn't got there, I would have been okay. Hopefully maybe the lap car can interfere with them. That car number 7 has honestly been a pain all race now. There we go, and it continues to be a pain.
This is exactly what we need.
Because, yeah, that's the same guy.
Inside clear.
Honestly, if that guy hadn't interfered with me and I had let that blue car by, if I hadn't let the number 1 car by, I wouldn't have been in any trouble. Honestly, that 7 car has been causing issues all race.
17.1.
It was the car that spat in front of me. It was the car that caused me to lose the number 1. That caused me to lose P2. And then it was the car that caused me to get P2 back again because it took out the leader. So yeah, they're not a very good driver in car number 7 there, to be honest. Now we're catching up on car number 10 here, so this could be bad. We'll see what happens if they get out. Okay, good. They're getting out of the way. That does mean that I don't think there's any more lap cars for us to be interfering with now. So it'll be probably a straightforward P2 for us. Now, what's this car 10 doing? I thought
17.0.
Thought it would go high for us. It hasn't.
1.0 seconds.
There we go. Obviously, my car's getting tight now because of the damage. Not damage, tyre wear, I mean.
What's your speed limit in the pits?
Honestly, around Southern National, I don't really notice the tyre wear quite as much. But around here, maybe it's because I'm not as quick, and I maybe have to force the tyres to go quicker. But I really notice the tyre wear at the end of the stint here in this car.
The gap to Warner ahead is now 0.9.
So their car number 1 is very quick, that's why he's number 1. Got higher iRating than us, so we'll get a decent bit of iRating. Obviously only 2 incidents, so actually we can't gain safety rating. What it will do is it will magically put our safety rating up without us seeing, so that if we ever have a bad race, we've got a bit of a magical cushion
2 to go. Keep it
above
together.
5
we'll be on the
that we
podium.
can't see. So if we do have a bad race, we're alright.
Stupidly, you're left down, mate.
Alright, on to the last lap now. It's been a really
just been
successful
disqualified.
race.
Okay,
Who?
Morgan, one more to
Who?
go. Keep it together, we'll be on the podium.
Who's been
Last
disqualified?
lap was a 17.1.
Was that the 7 car that got disqualified? I think that was the 7 car that got disqualified.
What's your speed?
Man, he could drive. Right, there we go. Cross the line.
Drive, that's a podium.
P2 could have been the win if we weren't held up by that 7 car. And the 7 car would still take out the 3 car. But there we go. In the end, P2, happy with that. We didn't really have the pace. I don't think we actually led a single lap, did we? But, you know, take that. And the 7 car, I think, was disqualified in the end. Yeah, they finished 14 laps down. Oh, my word. Yeah, they were pretty shocking. I'm interested to see what their safety rating is. But anyway, right, I think we'll bring up a brand new little screen that I've made. Made it this morning. Mad Chili is currently selecting a race, so we'll do that as I wait for the results to come through. And oh, here they are. So here's our results. Now, obviously, safety rating stays the same because we can't go any higher than 4.99. In the end, look at that. We were pretty much on par with the lap there. Yeah, disqualified in the end. Car number 7 lost 0.23 safety rating, so pretty shocking. And their best lap was a 17.9. Oh dear, yeah, they were bad. I don't know what happened there, but that was not good. Oh, but good. Yeah, look, 3,200 iRating car number 1 had, so they're a considerable amount higher than me. But we gained 50 iRating in the end, 40 actually, 40 iRating. 2,700 iRating we're up to now. That's really, really good. Obviously, Split 2 had mostly rookies in it, so not bad. Fastest lap in that was a 16.9, so we'd destroy all of them, wouldn't we? But there we go, that was really good fun. So what we're going to go ahead and do, I'll bring up my little screen and we'll go ahead and join the next race. Now remember, this one is starting at 9:30, so it starts in 7 minutes. It's going to be a 40-minute race. 1 pit stop roughly in the middle. It does matter. Actually, one thing I will tell you, yesterday, I was in third all race, then second place got taken out. So that was lucky. And then after that, I was in second all race, and then first place. I just noticed suddenly on the last lap, I thought, hang a minute, I'm first. They ran out of fuel. If you pit, a tank only goes 25 minutes. And if you pit right on the edge, you're really close. Obviously, pitting slightly earlier can be a benefit in these cars, because you can take tyres. Taking tyres only wastes 2 or 3 seconds on the stop, and you gain all of that back easily. So taking tyres is pretty fair. And if you pit later on in the race, it doesn't actually cost you any time because of the amount of fuel you have to put in. So it's actually quite good, taking tyres. But he must have pitted a lap early or right on the edge. And he actually ended with him, like, running out of fuel on the last lap. I got him. I didn't even notice because he peeled into the pits. And honestly, I was like, what? What just happened? But yeah, so that's really cool. We are using a setup from VRS. It is a free setup now, because it's one of the few ones that they do free. It's just a baseline setup, actually. It's just called VRS Baseline. It's quite good for pretty much every track in this Master, though, to be fair. Also, this series, it's pretty good, really. I mean, I've only really been racing in the evenings with this series, so I don't know how the competition is in the morning. From experience on iRacing, it seems like in the morning, generally people are slower.
Speed limit is 72 kilometers per hour.
So we'll see. Now again, I have the driving line turned on, although it really doesn't seem to be very useful. I've actually learned with the iRacing driving line that it seems to stay the same for all cars at a certain track. Meaning, obviously, if anyone's worked that out by now, that changes based on on a per car basis. So obviously it means that that's why it's so out of sync. That's why it's so wrong. In a lot of places it tells you to brake where you shouldn't be braking. So generally I don't even know why I've kept it on here at Summit Point, because there's not really any braking points here at Summit Point. The only braking point on the entire lap is the first corner, and then maybe this corner, although it's quite... That's me not being used to this car. That is, right. This car is much more slidey than the street stock, and when you jump from one to another, you know it. Now, my best ever lap in this thing is a 22.1. My typical laps are probably a 22.5, 22.6, although what often happens, like in the BMWs round here, I don't know why I'm like this with Summit Point, but I often have, in qualifying particularly, half a lap that's really good, and then the other half of the lap that's shocking. That's what often happens to me, and it's really annoying. But it doesn't really matter. But yeah, just good man here at practice. But this car definitely feels a bit more slidey than it normally does. That is just because I was driving the street stock literally 5 minutes ago. Well, the tyres do need to be a bit warm on this thing for it to get any grip at all. Luckily, it's easier to do that than the street stock. That's why I'm always slow in qualifying the street stock. Not in this, though. Yeah, well, we'll try and do a lap. I think we've got time for one lap before the session starts. So we'll see what kind of pace I'm doing. Probably won't be that quick at first, because it's only, well, my first lap of the day around here, but it doesn't really matter, it's just to get used to the track. You can see there I found a bit of a better exit out of that last corner, so I gained a lot of time on that 122.4 that I set, which is what I mean in qualifying. I keep setting a bad lap with like one little good thing in it, and it's really annoying. But that was a pretty good lap, a 1:26.0 for an out lap. You can go a bit quicker than that, but I don't know, I was really slow at that first corner. You got to get it exactly right with the braking and the acceleration. I actually lost a lot of time on the braking, but then gained some of it back. I gained about half of it back on the acceleration. It's really, honestly, that sometimes makes you lap, and it's weird because it doesn't feel any slower going slowly. It's weird, really odd. That corner pretty simple now. This one is basically flat out, maybe half throttle on colder tyres, then brake as soon as you finish turning, then turn in, get a turn in there. That was a little bit bad. I got distracted because my chair moved a little bit. And this bit of the lap, like in the BMWs, it's got to be, you know, you can actually gain a lot of time just by changing your line, even if you're just full throttle all the time anyway. This corner is full throttle in the Mazda. You can gain a lot of time on people there, because some people go out, like in the BMW where you have to go out wide. In this car you don't do that. If you go out wide, you can generally have to actually brake, otherwise the car wants to spin around. Now you can see there, look, so we've been a bit of a poor lap, but then out that last bit we have a really good exit. That's the bit of the lap that I didn't set on the 22.4. I did a really bad exit, so that's really good. That's a 22.6, which is enough for P2 already. And that was a bit of a dodgy gap, so because remember we were dodgy into this corner and we were dodgy into the middle sector as well. So it shows that the competition maybe isn't quite as strong as it is in the evenings. Maybe, I don't know, we'll wait and see what our race split has in store for us. It's going to be 2 splits because there's 35 people registered, 30 people in a race, so we're going to have quite an empty serve, which is good in this series. Because remember, it is multi-class, and as I've found recently, all the bad drivers drive the VWs, and honestly, the amount of carnage that's happened in this series with VWs, in the 3 races I've done this week, it's all been VW related. As I said before at Lime Rock, the VWs and the Mazdas literally do the same pace. Almost. They're very similar. The VW can go 1 second a lap quicker, but only if it has a good driver. And if not, it actually goes slower than the Mazdas. So obviously that creates some issues where you're battling people. Oh, I think this lap would have been a new best, but we have to stop because we've got a session to go to. So let's go ahead and jump into that, and then the stream will finish after we do this race. So it'll finish in about an hour. It's obviously a 40-minute race, this one, so it's quite long. Obviously with one pit stop in the middle as well. But it's really fun, this. I mean, also, the bonus of a long race is the safety rating. Like, you have to get, so for my safety rating to go down, I would have to get more than 9 incidents over the course of qualifying and race. Obviously, qualifying 2 incidents equals 1, 4 incidents equals 2. You divide it by 2. In qualifying. But yeah, so 9 incidents over the course of the weekend, that's qualifying and race, kept it the same. So, like, I literally had 5 incidents in the race, 5 incidents, and I still ended up doing quite well. Now, we are not the best iRacing driver in the Mazdas. We got a couple of VW. This is a really quiet server, actually. So actually, yeah, unfortunately, even though I thought the competition might not be that good, we have a Division 1 guy in here, so really quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Mazdas. Probably need to finish in the top 6, to be honest, because I'm the 4th best. So top 6 is our aim for today's race. Yeah, I thought the competition, looking at the practice session, wouldn't be so good. We've got only 1 Pontiac, so not too much of an issue. No Mustangs, so there'll be nobody lapping us. So yeah, 17 cars is a very small grid, actually. But yeah, shame out the competition. I thought maybe we might be in for a bit of an easier time, but actually this is probably the strongest Mazda split I've ever been in over the course of this time. To only be the 4th best. Normally I'm at least 2nd or 3rd best. I've never been the best though, weirdly, on iRacing. I don't know why, but this series normally attracts per race at least 1 driver that's like 5,000, 6,000 iRating. Not always, but yeah, most of the time you get there's literally just 1 driver, and they dominate everything. They're usually in a Mazda, but I saw an 8,000 iRating guy in a Pontiac once. That was nuts, 8,000 iRating. There's only 1 Pontiac here, so you know, he'll be getting a class win, and that's good for his safety rating. Obviously that's the same strategy that I do quite often. If I'm really trying to push for safety rating, just be the only car in the class. This server is pure gold for that, because there's only 17 cars as well. I think 17 is one of the emptiest I've ever seen. The emptiest a server can ever be in this is when you have 2 splits, and there's 15 cars, and there's always more than 15 normally, so yeah, normally 15 is the lowest you're ever going to get, and that's if 31 people register. You're going to get a 15 and a 16 rather than one big 30.
That's the end of the session. P1.
Oh, a 24.9 is really fast for an outlap actually, so that's really good. So we'll see what we can do. I don't know how quick everyone else is going to be. Everyone's loaded in. There's only 4 VWs. 2 of them are quite low down on the iRacing scale, so that could be interesting, but we'll see what happens. So fuel, obviously minimum fuel for qualifying. I like to go maximum fuel. Well, not maximum. It only allows you to go up to 34% tank. But yeah, minimum fuel for qualifying.
The pit exit looks clear. We've
to
got
get ourselves the
2
best
laps.
possible chance.
Let's get this done.
Obviously, this thing does like being quite a light car. It's a very light car, so obviously less fuel does mean quicker. Try and warm the tyres up as much as we can, because this thing is horrendous on cold tyres, and it will ruin our first qualifying lap. Normally the second one is better unless I make a mistake, which I did do yesterday. Ended up qualifying a little bit lower than I would have liked, although saying that the top 2 guys were really good anyway. The hope is, though, obviously qualifying at the front. Sometimes it's a bad thing in this Master Series. Because it's multi-class, the VWs go backwards, the Masters go forwards. And the way it always seems to work out is the top 2 Masters. So the first Master hits the slowest VW. That ends in a crash. And then the second Master hits the second VW, and that ends in one getting slowed down, maybe a crash. So normally, if you start third, the chances are you're going to be second or even first by the end of the next 15 minutes because of VWs going backwards and causing issues. Obviously, if you're in third, all the all the VW's been cleared out before you got there, so it's okay. Well, that's normally, or obviously sometimes you can still get caught up. It depends on how bad the VWs are, though. Obviously, there's only 4 VWs in this split, so they're not going to be that slow. Right, let's see what we can do then. I'm going to be quiet for this lap because we'll get the absolute maximum out of qualifying, obviously. I'll only talk on straights. Okay, we've got a good exit from that corner there, look, so that's really good. That's this is the first part of our lap. Oh, we're a bit slow through there, that's not good. A little bit slow. We lost a 10th of a second there, I knew we were a bit slow. Key here, ignore the driving line going a bit deeper, and then basically if you follow the apex round, you can get a bit better exit, although that didn't happen that time, I don't know why. And then go out a bit wider, that allows you to get more straight line speed in before you reach this next bit. We have lost half a second, I don't know what it is, but on that 22.4, I was really good in the middle sector, and then obviously I was really poor in the third sector, which is why it was a 22.4. So we will be able to gain some of this back, hopefully, by doing a good sort of end to the lap. There we go. Honestly, it was absolutely appalling the end to that 22.4 lap. Gained a ton of time back. I literally gained 0.3 of a second back. I actually gained 3.5 of a second back. So that's a 22.5 just.
That time was,
and that's enough for second place. So that's really good. I think we can probably do better than that as well. So that was really good. There we go. Good exit out of there as well. That's actually gained us time. So who knows? Maybe this lap can be good if we don't mess up this corner and we don't mess up the middle sector. Now we messed up that corner again, lost another 10th of a second. I don't know, I must have just forgotten how to do that corner overnight. Not normally a problem. Right, slow down a bit better here, a bit earlier. That means you can get turned a bit easier. We don't lose as much time. I still lose quite a bit of time though, so I don't know what I did around that corner the previous laps. We haven't lost quite as much time at this part of the lap. I think we're about maybe a half a tenth up on our last lap at this point. Yeah, to be honest, this lap is about the same. We'll have to see what the exit is, but I think this lap is going to be about the same. We're literally, I think, the same amount down on our lap. just want to know how to do that really quick.
The leader has just done
Time
a 122.59.
through there again. Right, there we go. A 122.59. Come on. Oh no. So this lap in the end
The leader's just done
was
22.03.
literally the same. I think it was literally 200 slower. So that's a massive shame. I could do a bit better than that, but there we go. That is that. P3 in the end. Okay, so P1 we're not getting in Masterclass. I know that. They're really quick. P2 I probably could have got if I was a little bit better. But car number 1 hasn't qualified yet, and they're definitely going to qualify. I think it'd be pretty stupid not to qualify. But yeah, and that might push us back to 4th. That's a shame. If I could have got in front of car number 3, I'd probably end up with a bit of a better race. Because I have a feeling that I'm going to be passed by car number 1 once it sets its qualifying. There's no way they're not qualifying. He always leaves qualifying to the last minute, that guy. And one guy's got a team? 3 people? This isn't a multi-driver race. How have they got 3 people? Spectators? I don't know. Well, there you go. But anyway, we'll see what we've got. We've got 2 minutes now. Obviously, I can't just skip it like I would in a video. I can't just pause the video and go, see you on the grid. That isn't a thing. And, oh, so he set 1 lap, car number 1, and it's a 22.9. That's not what I expected. Must have made a mistake, because he's probably going to go another lap, unless he's got incidents. No. No one really to watch out for. No one's had tons of incidents. 3 is a little bit worrying, although it's still acceptable. That's probably a loss of control and 1 off track, which is not too bad. There was one person yesterday, a VW, that got 7 incidents in qualifying. I mean, how over the course of 2 laps you get 7 incidents? That's really worrying. That's really weird, really worrying how you do that. You know, when people get that many incidents, to just stay away from them. Normally, that's normally the best course of action. But we'll see, honestly. I think top 6 is probably our aim here, which is basically bang in the middle of the Mazdas, because we're the 4th best. Maybe top 5. Depends on what happens to everybody else. Again, safety rating, I'm kind of... If we do a really good race, I could probably get to B class if we have a 0 incident race. I think I'm on like 3.81, so I could probably just skim B class if I get a 0 incident point race. It's quite unlikely. I probably need 2 races, really, to get to 4. But so far, this week, anyway, this series has treated me quite well, even with 8 incidents, as I said. Plus 2 in qualifying, so that's 9, because he died qualifying by 2. So even with 9 incidents over the course of a weekend, it stayed the same. So it's actually, it's quite nice, this series on safety rating. Just as long as you don't get, like, 12 incidents or something. But luckily, the low amount of VWs hopefully means that we should be in for a pretty good race. And there we go, I have been pushed down to 4th. A 22.4, yeah, I definitely could have got 3rd. But behind that, though, behind the top 4, there is a massive pace gap. Like 0.3 of a second. So by the looks of it, we might only be in a 4-car scrap, maybe. I think, honestly, car number 7 is just going to be gone. His iRacing is lower than it should be. Oh, say that, he's Division 2. The division is basically based on the iRating they were at the start of the season. So obviously I'm Division 3, so expect everybody in Division 2 to be, and 1 particularly, to be quicker than me. Now, unfortunately, there are 2 VWs that appear to be very slow. A 27.5 is particularly shocking, so we'll see what happens there, but that is worrying. Hopefully they don't go backwards. Obviously, we're starting quite close. Hopefully, the lead Mazdas will leave a gap to VW class, and it'll all be fine. Got 4 gallons of fuel on board, which is the maximum fuel you can take. Obviously, it's good to have maximum fuel because it gives you the most chance of when to pit. Normally, we pit between 24 minutes to go and 16 minutes to go. That's normally when we pit, somewhere in that region, so 20 minutes to go is probably the ideal place. Obviously, you've got to try and balance. If we're in traffic, we'll pit as early as possible to try and get that time on fresh tyres, to try and jump people. I've been able to jump people. I managed to actually gain a good 3 or 4 seconds most pit stop cycles on people. Not always. I think there's one race where the pit stop cycle was pretty neutral, actually. But the other 2 I gained out of, so we'll see what happens today. There's one thing to remember about this series. It is not just how you do in the race. It is important how you do in the pit stops. You know, there's no point being quick if you drive past your pit box. I've done that before. Or speed in the pit lane. I've done that before. Honestly, at Watkins Glen, I had the most horrendous pit stop cycle. About 4 weeks ago, I pitted and I missed my pit box because I was faffing around with what to do on the pit stop. And then I came around a second time, a bit angry that I'd lost time, and got done for speeding. And then I got out, 1 lap later, got punted off by a car that was a lap ahead of me. Excellent. That was a really bad race. I was trying to get to C-class at the time, so I was pretty angry.
The track temp is 27 Celsius.
Yeah, that weren't good. But there we go. Right, time to start the race. Has someone not loaded in? Because we didn't wait.
We need to follow car number 1 in the right column.
Okay, P11 in the Mazdas has not made it. Now, obviously, because we leave a gap on the start, they might end up in a bit of a higher position, actually. So let's see what happens with that one. Right, hopefully we're going to leave a gap to the VWs. We should be doing that. Obviously, that means that if there is VW carnage, that we can stay well out of the way of it, at least for the first bit. There's only 4 VWs, so we're a little bit empty on VWs, which is quite good. And there's no Mustangs in this field either, so we haven't got any crazy quick Mustangs. So hopefully we'll leave a gap to the VWs. I hope they're doing that. Obviously we're to try and brake and weave, trying to get some heat in these tyres. This thing is horrendous on cold tyres. Got to be careful we don't spin it on the first lap, obviously. And I'll see what we can do. Obviously I'm in my Golf Motorsport Mazda. I think it looks really cool, this livery. It doesn't look like we're really leaving a gap to the VWs ahead, which does worry me a touch. I would have rather be doing that, so we'll see. Because otherwise, to be fair, there is only 4 of them and 2 of them are very quick. So the fact that there's 2 VWs that probably won't cause us any issues, hopefully that means that obviously only 2 VWs, it's not so bad. I mean, one of the surfaces that went nuts, there was 8 VWs or 9. That's where it really gets bad, because you're not just battling 2 slow people, you're battling a lot of slow people. Well, I think we are leaving a little bit of a gap to the VWs though, so that's good. However, saying that, the leader seems to have other plans. Obviously, you know, that is how it is in this multi-class stuff. It looks like we are leaving a bit of a gap though, so that's good. I'm glad to see we're leaving a small gap. If we weren't leaving any gap, that's when there's problems.
Get ready.
And also that they should be quicker than us on the start. Right, got a good exit there out of that corner. We've got a really good start, so hopefully that means, there we go, we've got a run on the car on the inside.
Go.
That means I'm obviously going to cover him off to try and get into P3. Obviously we started P4, so we managed to jump, we managed to time the start pretty perfectly. Obviously there's no restrictions on where you can be at the start. There's no rule of you can't pass before the line. That isn't a thing unless you're the leader and that's the leader of the top class as well. So that's in this case first and second on the grid in VW. Right, straight away that Mazda is right aggressive, trying to get those slower VWs. And this is what I mean. Look, this is what we're being held up by, these really slow guys in VW class that really do get in the way. But the issue is we can't go nuts because it normally ends in a gigantic accident. In fact, never mind, the VWs have caused their own gigantic accident. So that's kind of nice, I guess. You know, saving the issue, you know, saving us a bit of time there. And actually, the Mazda behind me has been caught by the VW. Now that will allow them to be out of my draft. There's only one long straight, so the draft doesn't matter a lot. But it definitely matters a bit, and then I'm a whole second and a half behind. So there we go, I'm really happy with that start. Grid order's basically been maintained, apart from, I think, me and the Mazda behind me. Whee! I just got slightly on the sand there, that was dangerous. That was really dangerous. But yeah, those VWs causing their own accident
P3
was nice. We've now got a second and a half behind, 1.6 seconds. So hopefully all we need to do is basically set some quick laps I know I can do a bit quicker than what I was doing in qualifying, so hopefully that will pan out across the rest of this race. P1, judging by his pace in qualifying, is going to absolutely... It's absolutely just going to walk off. So, you know, that's that. Car number 2 that qualified, I think, a bit lower down is actually making its way back through the field by the looks of it. So we'll try and see what we can do about that. But yeah, overall, a pretty decent start. Obviously, those VWs causing their own accident probably massively helped us. Gap behind has increased by a whole second this lap, despite the fact that there's no traffic in the way. So that's good. That obviously means that we are building a gap. Now, the car ahead, we seem to be on pace with. However, I don't really want to be going after him just yet. Keep just getting in the sand there. That's, you know, I mean, we can get away with it, but I don't really want to risk it. This thing can just spin around very easily. Whoa! A 21.9. That's the best lap I've ever done. The best before this is a 22.1, so a 21.9. Partially because I'm following someone, I think I'm getting, honestly, the absolute maximum draft from these guys. I think that's what's making my lap times a little bit higher, this massive draft, and the fact that I'm following them, of course. And I'm trying to push away, of course, from 4th place as well. I think these guys will soon find better pace than me, though. Oh, there you go, Mazda ahead there. That's probably an off track. That was, you are allowed to go a bit in the gravel, but not quite that much, I don't think. I need to be a bit better through that corner, although I was actually alright. You know, let's go on the grass a lot. I mean, these cars, you can put the back wheel on the grass slightly to help them get around a corner easier. It is a little tip that you can do to make yourself a little bit quicker in these Mazdas. I don't really like it, though, because it puts you at risk of spinning out, and of course, depending on how strict the track is, it also puts you at risk of getting an off track. So I don't really like it. I'm not really a fan. So the quickest people definitely seem to challenge track limits. Now the gap ahead is starting to open up just a touch. I'm pretty happy with where I am, though. We're in 3rd, and we're quite safely in 3rd.
That last lap was a 22.
And we're getting a nice draft, you know. It's like in F1 2020 where you just basically DRS train somebody. You're not quicker than them, but you can just stick behind them and grab. Well, obviously in Formula 1 it's DRS, in this it's slipstream, and you can just grab that off them. And it kind of pulls you along like a little, you know, they're the horse in your carriage. It's really good.
P3.
So even though they're technically quicker than me, I can sort of stay... Obviously that will only affect for a few laps, because those two are definitely quicker than me, I know that. I can actually see it now. You can start to see evidence of the fact that they are quicker than me. And now they've probably started to find their pace. Obviously their tyres will probably be warming up now, and you know they'll be getting into the rhythm of the race themselves. Maybe I was just quicker to get into the rhythm of the race. That is possible. Luckily, because of that massive crash of the VWs, there's only really 2 VWs left in this race, and they're both fairly quick, so we haven't really had an issue with them. So that's really, really good. Obviously, like, it's, you know, I mean, it's supposed to be a multi-class race, this, but to be honest, it's basically just a Mazda race with a couple of extra things thrown in. Basically what this has turned into. Now the gap behind, nice, 3.5 seconds. So the fact that we are losing time ahead, obviously, that doesn't mean I think the draft ahead is starting to disappear a little bit, and our lap times are starting to come back down to what I'd typically be setting. But it's still enough to pull away. That's, you know, I think my aim for this race now is to just keep this P3 position nice and warm. Just be nice and steady in P3. Don't worry about getting those two ahead. They're quicker than me, I know that. The number 7 car is way quicker than their iRacing, I'll say that.
Morgan, keep piling on the pressure. He'll
but
make a mistake.
That's all we need to do, really.
The window for fuel should open after 11 minutes and closes after 26 minutes.
Not after 11, Jim. Jim is the crew chief name, by the way. But yeah, not after 11 minutes. At least 15, you want to leave it. Otherwise you can't make it to the end. The tank goes about 25 minutes.
About 19 minutes of fuel left.
So you see there, we've done 7 minutes, we've got 19 left, 18 or something. So you can see there, it is about a 25-minute tank. So you don't want to go any more than that. But we've got a nice 4-second gap, so we're gaining about half a second a lap, which is really good. 4 seconds is a decent margin. It's what we want to. That's what we want to keep doing. That is. Oh, got a little bit on the gravel. That's so dangerous. That is. Honestly, I can just feel the car starting to snap on me. I mean, it allows you to carry more speed through that last corner, but it's so dangerous. And I'm not really that kind of racer. I don't like it to be really dangerous, really. I like quite a calm car. Although saying that, I am driving the Mazda, which is a car that you drive it like a go-kart. You know, you do slide it round the place a little touch. But I like to kind of drive it as calmly as you can anyway. These guys are definitely getting away from me now. But those two might battle. If those two could battle and they take each other out, obviously that would be the ultimate present to me. I'm actually staying. I've noticed the car number 7, the gap to him has stayed the same. It's about 1.5 seconds. So I'm actually probably quick enough maybe for P2. Because the guy in front of me, that car number 1, is quicker than both of us. So I think, you know, that's one thing I have noted. I'm not actually slower than both of them, I'm only slower than one of them. But yeah, so the gap on this lap's about 4.2 seconds to the car behind now, so it's actually been quite static this lap. I think I made a bit of a mistake in one of the calls on this lap though, definitely. Yeah, he goes way too on, honestly at this rate, I think that car number 1 could end up disqualified. I don't know how many of his corners have been off track, but he's definitely got a few. Like, must do. Or maybe it just looks more off track than it actually is from here. Gotta be careful, I just felt my wheel coming off the desk a little bit there. It happens under braking sometimes. If you grab the wheel while you're braking, even though it's quite tightly fixed onto the desk, it likes to fall off. Obviously, if that happens during a race, we're in trouble. So sometimes it also causes the pedals to disconnect, which we don't want. Oh, there you go. So we've got slightly on the grass look before the corner, and that allows us to get a pretty good run through. It's just doing that. If you go slightly too much on the grass, that's it. Cars around, you know. If you did that in the BMW series when they were here last week, your car was probably going to end up in the barrier or spun round if you hit the grass there. These cars are a little bit easy to handle. Those BMW GT4s are actually not very fun. They are a little bit silly. They're very understeery until they're not. But I'm so happy that those two VWs crashing at the start with each other, meant that we can still have a clean race up here in Mazdas. And they're gone now. We've literally got 2 VWs to be concerned about, and that's it. And those are both quicker than us, but not by a lot, so they probably won't lap us. So it allows us to have a much cleaner race than with each other. And my pace is staying pretty much consistent with them. And the gap behind is now coming up on 5 seconds. So obviously that means if we lose a little bit of time in the pits, it allows us to kind of gain some of that back in a way. That was really good there, just slowing it down nicely. We caught up a lot of time. We did that last. In fact, actually, in the last couple of laps, we have actually caught back up to these top 2. I don't know why there's a VW here, because there you go. Yeah, so we must have made a mistake because I think they were 6 seconds away, not so long ago. So that implies that they've made a mistake or something. Hopefully, they'll be able to get away again then. And they're number 10 on iRacing, so they should have enough pace to use. No. Oh, that was close. I shifted up twice. I accidentally hit the paddle twice rather than once. Luckily, I shifted back up quite quickly, so I didn't blow up the engine. Oh, that was close. I don't know what happened there. I just accidentally tapped it twice rather than once. I have blown up the engine of a Mazda twice. Once in a league race and once in an actual race in a rookie series. Yep. Not so good. Obviously, you can blow up the engine of this Mazda. It's okay. Wow. I think that's a mistake. That's... no. A tank goes 25 minutes, so... and we've got 29 left, so he's in trouble. So I think he has just ruined his race there by pitting. Far too early
Morgan,
to pit.
Just keep hitting your marks. This is looking
far
good.
too early. I wonder if anyone else will see that and think, oh, I can pit now. Because that's wrong. Pitting this early, wow. He must have damage or a penalty or something, because that's not normal.
We think about 14 minutes of fuel remaining.
A tank only goes 25, 26 minutes, so pitting now has no advantage. You can see now though, car number 1 is going to be able to make a break for it because he hasn't got anyone in front of him. So I don't know what that car number 7, maybe that shows where their iRacing is a bit lower, maybe they're not that experienced. Oh no! Oh, that was close. We only lost half a second, it's okay. Oh, that was close. If I had spun round then, I have almost spun round on that corner quite a few times. There we go. Alright, we're alright. 5 second gap is still there. Whoa, that's not good. Unfortunately, that has put us out of the draft. But yeah, whoa, that was not good. That wasn't. I think, yeah, that's dangerous. But we'll see if anyone else pits now, because if they do, they've messed up their own race. You have to go until at least 15 minutes in, because otherwise the tank will not go that long. Unless he's planning on making 2 stops, although there's no reason. Actually, one thing he could have done is accidentally, you know how you use like low fuel in qualifying? If he forgot to put it back up, that's where the tank would have run out. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe he realised that he'd only put qualifying fuel in and he's going to have to stop twice. And if he hadn't done that though, there's no reason for him to just pit normally. Yeah, car number 1's absolutely gone now. Now that there's no car in front of him,
Alright, Morgan,
his pace is showing. Now obviously I think he actually might be quicker than that VW now, so maybe, there you go, that's how you do that corner. You get slightly loose, but not mega loose, like I did last lap. But unfortunately, that gap behind is staying about 5 seconds. 5 seconds is okay. We can get away with taking tyres and probably not losing that much time to him. Because also I do like to take tyres because it definitely benefits you later in the race, almost certainly. So even if you lose 3 or 4 seconds in the pits, you can definitely get it back. But it does mean I have to have, maybe a 5 second cushion to him, just in case he doesn't take tyres, just to cover it off. So I've got to keep having these quick laps for probably the next 6 minutes before we pit. Just got to hammer in these laps. Obviously, I'm not really getting a draft anymore, so that kind of excess pace that I had has kind of gone away a little bit without a draft. But the gap is still 5 seconds, but behind him, it's 8 seconds. And remember, this is now the battle for second, really, because there's no way that guy can make it to the end from where he pitted. And you can't win by pitting twice. He wasn't that quick. He wasn't quick enough to win on 2 stops. So he's kind of thrown because obviously a stop is a good 35, 40 seconds at least. So, and he wasn't even that quick. I was probably the same pace as him. And car number 1 was definitely quicker than him. So I don't know, really, he would have been better off if he pitted late to ensure that he can maybe keep that first place for a bit longer. But never mind, I'm not in charge of his strategic decisions. I just benefit from them, or lose out from them, depending on whether it's a good or a bad call. Although I'm fairly certain that was a bad call. We can actually pit now, I think, just and make it to the end. However, it would be very, very tight, so I'd like to go at least 1 extra lap. There you go, there's a Pontiac here. I think maybe the Pontiac's just doing 2 stops, because why not? I guess the Pontiac can do what it likes, because there's only 1 Pontiac in the entire field. Yeah, 24-0, so our tyres are definitely going off a little bit. This is why I like to take tyres. The tyres do have that first 5 laps on them, first 6 laps on them. Generally, you can make up a good 5 or 6 seconds. So if we pit a little bit earlier than the car behind, and then use our tyres, we can be really good. However, because of the spread out of the field, we're probably going to pit and then come out in traffic. Which is not what I want. So I think we're just going to go to the middle, which is when everyone else will pit. We'll probably go 1 lap longer than car number 1, or maybe if he hasn't pitted. Basically, I think we'll pit 1 lap later than him if he pits soon. If not, we'll come in the middle if he hasn't come in by then. Because I don't see the point in going past the middle, because that means you're kind of limiting how much time you gain, and also if the car behind pits, will pit on the next lap as well. Yeah, this does show though that pit strategy does matter in this series. Gap behind is still 5 seconds, so it stayed about the same actually. This lap's been a bit better actually, so it's up to 5.5 seconds. It's about 5.2, so it's you know, it's right on the edge. We're probably gaining like 0.2 a lap maybe, if it's a quick lap. That was a quick lap. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Before, a quick lap was a 22. Now a quick lap is being even in a 23 because of those tyres. And also the fact we're not in a draft. A draft definitely goes, even if there's only one straight, it definitely gains you a bit. Okay, the Pontiac's being nice and getting out our way.
Slower car.
Obviously, he can basically be as slow as he wants to let us by because he's the only Pontiac. He hasn't really got to worry. Right, okay, I thought it was car number 7 there. Okay, we're coming up on this Pontiac. What are they doing? Great.
Car left. Clear left side.
Cost us very minimal time, so that's what I want to see. It did cost us about half a second, but you know, you can't get out of the way in that complex of corners, so unfortunately that's that. Obviously it's better him holding me up a slight bit than crashing into him, obviously.
The gap to Griffin in front is now 3.1 seconds.
And we've also got a lap Mazda coming up as well, so maybe they've already pitted, I don't know. It's a bit weird to be a lap down already. It's a, you know, it's a minute and 30, well, almost a minute and 30 laps, so it's quite a bit to go a lap down by in such a short period of time, unless they had a crash or an incident or something. Right, I don't think we're going to pit on this lap. I think we'll go one more. You know, we're not going to go much longer.
We estimate 8 minutes of fuel remaining, 0.8 litres per lap. We'll need to add 9 litres to get to the end.
Fortunately, and unfortunately, the car number 3 behind us didn't really get held up by that Pontiac at all, so they're now 4 seconds behind us. They caught up. I probably wasted about 0.8 of a second being behind that Pontiac. So
Edwards has been disqualified.
who's that? Is that? I think that's a Mazda. It's not a Pontiac, and it probably ain't a VW, but it could be. Okay, so there's only 16 cars left running now. How do you get disqualified in a field this small? I mean, like, literally, it's such a small field, there's not really a lot of... It's such a small and spread out field, there's not a lot of opportunities for crashing. This is probably the most boring Simlab Production Car Challenge race I've done all week. Right, I think we're going to pit in on this lap, actually. I can feel the tyres are starting to go off a little bit. We're in the middle of the race, right, everything's looking good there. Maximum fuel added. Seems as if Griffin has had the same idea ahead.
The leader, Griffin, is pitting. Look out for the pit speed limit.
Oh God.
The lane speed limit is 72 kilometres per hour.
Right, we're all right. Don't worry. We're all right, guys. We had a fast repair, but that was a bit bad. That's one incident. Oh, we would have lost a bit of time doing that.
Resty is now leading.
No, I've totally messed up my pit stop. Oh, that's really bad. Right, that's really bad. We've lost a good couple of seconds there. That's embarrassing. Yeah. This is iRacing. Oh, that's really embarrassing though. Literally, 3 races, pit entry has been the best out of anybody. This race, streaming, yeah. Well, there we go. In the end, we're actually okay. Obviously, car number 7 is going to go by. But remember, that car number 7 is going to have to pit because of when they pitted. Yeah, we've lost a good bit of time there. That car number 2 was about 6 or 7 seconds behind us before, so that's really bad. I've really messed up my race there. I don't believe what I've done. That's so bad. Anyway, that's one incident point as well because it counted as off track. But luckily we have a fast repair, so it didn't damage us. We're safe to go to the end.
We estimate 27 minutes of fuel left.
And we can make it to the end, right.
Litres per lap.
Well, that little mistake may have pushed us down to 3rd place from 2nd, but, you know, it doesn't matter. That's kind of the best we can do, isn't it? Doesn't really matter. It is annoying. And we were shot off pit box because I think the brakes were damaged.
The leader, Resty, is pitting.
Right, okay. This is the important thing though. Is that car that I was battling? Have we lost so much time that they're now ahead of us?
Now in the lead.
Obviously, we've gone 1 lap longer, so it means we've been able to take advantage of those fresh tyres. So hopefully that will.
Has now decreased to 0.
And to be fair though, I don't think we've actually we lost quite a bit of time because Griffin was 3 seconds ahead of us. They're now 12 seconds ahead of us. Oh, it's so annoying. I think I've lost... Sadly, I think I may have lost that 2nd place. Obviously, it'll be a bit more than that. Okay, right, where are they? Oh, actually, Actually, we got out ahead of them. That is the advantage of those fresh tyres. Okay, so we're into a net
P6. Your lap time was
However, that will probably be P2 because that car number 7, there's no way it can do 29 minutes on a tank of fuel. No way. It's not doing 29 minutes on a tank of fuel, so that's really good. That's the advantage of fresh tyres, or maybe they made a similar mistake on their pit stop as well. I don't know. Car number 13 is yet to pit, so obviously, our pits kind of our position right now is obviously a bit false. We need to wait until it all cycles through, but yeah, our mistake in the pit stops has been kind of forgiven a little bit there. Also, the car behind us is only 1.5 seconds behind, so that's a little bit tight. However, again, they were behind car number 3, so they might not have that much pace. We'll see. I mean, they were right behind us after coming out of the pits, and now they're 1.5 seconds behind. So, obviously, I don't know whether they took fresh tyres. Maybe that's how they gained so much time. Not taking fresh tyres. Really, you should take fresh tyres. We'll probably see from this lap now. It'll probably be back in the 22s. So that means that obviously fresh tyres. If it is back in the 22s, that kind of does show you the power of fresh tyres. There you go. P4 is now pitting. So I think we're into P5 now. I'm not sure. We'll see what this lap is on fresh tyres. It is 23.1, so we've gained about 9 tenths of a second there.
Last lap time was
so that shows the power of fresh tyres. You know, 9 tenths of a second in one lap. That's quite a bit. We're still waiting on P2 to pit. Obviously P1 is currently, actually yeah, P1 hasn't pitted either, so we're in net P3. And then car number 7 probably needs to pit again. So we'll probably be second. If we can keep this position, don't let car number 7 get any further than 35 seconds away. However, it's only 4 seconds away. So as long as we can do that, that means that we should end up finishing today in a second. It's not going to be incident free, so we're probably not going to make B class. Obviously, we had one incident there.
McMahon is pitting.
Probably one of the most unfortunate incidents there, just crashing into the pit lane wall. I was paying more attention on pit lane stuff. I need to learn
Morgan,
that.
you're reeling
Whenever I look at pit
is
lane stuff
3.8
rather than
seconds.
anything else. Is this Pontiac going to nicely get out of the way? They are.
Right
Thank
side.
you.
Right side's clear.
Say good thanks to them. And there you go. So P3 is in the pits. We got by them. So we're now 4th, I think. No, we didn't quite get them by the line, but the guy in front of us is P3. They go P4. 123.0. Look at that. That shows a 123.0. That's a whole second quicker. That's how much fresh tyres are worth. So it was a no-brainer to take fresh tyres. Really. So that's really good. So check out the one incident, although saying that, when I gained 0.2 safety rating, well, pretty much 0.2, I did have one incident in qualifying. No, in qualifying, I had a spin. So actually I had, obviously divided by 2, so I actually had one incident over the weekend. It wasn't a 0 incident weekend, so if we can not get any more, it'll probably be the same game. Well, not quite the same, because I was on a lower safety rating, but we might just skim B class. This is going to be really close, whether we get B class or not. It will depend on how many laps we do, of course. Obviously, there's no Mustangs in this, so that will impact how many laps we do.
The lead car's pitting.
Yeah, so there you go. It looks like, there you go, P1 is pitting in Mazda class. That's going to put us up to P3.
Is now in the lead.
And then I said, car number 7, there's no way he's making it to the end. You know, unless he's hacking or something to get around the fuel boundary thing, because 29 minutes. Also, that car number 9 is still in the pits. It's been there for an entire lap. So I don't know whether it got maybe got a speeding penalty.
The lap time was at 123.04.
Third place. Third place on its own would be good, but I think it might even be second by the end.
We think about 21 minutes of fuel remaining.
We've got plenty of fuel. Now I'm expecting this car number 7, it pitted, it'll probably have to pit about 5 minutes before the end. I mean, even if they did a lot of fuel saving, 4 minutes is quite a bit of fuel saving, and they're not really going slowly because I'm not catching them up that much. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this has been quite a boring race because there hasn't been a lot of battling. because of the spread of the field, but it's been very good. And I said, if it wasn't for our mishap in the pits, it would have been incident-free so far anyway, and it would have been, we probably would have been a lot closer to the leader and a lot further away from 4th place. So, yeah, our mishap did cost us a little bit, although it's really not too bad. Yeah, car number 9's still in the pits, so I don't, that isn't even a speeding penalty at that point. Unless they don't, maybe they've used up their fast repair already, and they're having to do repairs or something. I don't know. We're actually flying in this last thing. We're catching up on 1st and 2nd place. We have got a slower VW ahead of us. I'm guessing it hasn't pitted because this was one of the ones that was involved in a crash at the start. So it must have not pitted by now. So hopefully it will have pitted by the end. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Obviously that means that we won't have to deal with it, because these VWs are the biggest pain to try and pass, because they're quicker than us off the corner, because they've got a better engine, they're better in a straight line, but then if the driver's rubbish, you just get stuck behind them in these twisty bits, and that's kind of why it's such a pain, because it's very difficult to pass in these twisty bits. Oh, there you go, car number 9 is actually disconnected, so something must have happened to them under the pit stop, whatever it was. Anyway, we are catching up on this VW nicely here. However, I'm just really hoping they pit soon. The VWs can go a lot longer on a tank than a Mazda. There we go. They still need to make a stop, but I think they can go about half hour on a tank, the VWs. They can definitely go longer. There we go. So we've got in front of that guy. Now I'm expecting car number 7 to run out of fuel, probably in the next couple of laps. Gap behind is about 3 seconds, it's stayed about the same, so that's okay.
Okay, Morgan, lap times are pretty consistent.
Nothing to worry about behind. And then obviously ahead, this car number 7, we are actually catching them a couple of tenths per lap, and obviously they're probably going to have to pit anyway. So, as I said, if they don't need to pit, again, I'm calling cheap, because a tank, unless you do mega fuel saving, a tank is not going to go 29 minutes. Like at a stretch, it goes 25. So that's the good, probably 3 laps, you know, of a tank that they're missing. And 3 laps is quite a lot to fuel save, you know, particularly in cars where, you know, obviously you kind of got to be on throttle most of the time, otherwise you're going to lose an absolute ton of time. Because most of this lap is on throttle, so fuel saving is very difficult. Now we've got 2.5 seconds behind. It was about 2.7. It's staying about 2.5, 3 consistently. However, I think it would be nice if we could try and set a couple of quicker laps to really make sure of what we're doing. Obviously, you know, catching up to us is one thing, passing us is another. The lap times are starting to come down because of the tyres.
23.70, 10 minutes remaining, 10 minutes. Okay, Morgan, keep doing what you're doing, this is spot on.
But yeah, I just need to keep going, and hopefully that gap, you know, just concentrate, and then hopefully the gap will start to be a bit more the same again. That's what we want to hope anyway. We have actually caught on car number 1 that we're 12 seconds away at the start of this stint, and they're only 10.5 now. I mean, it's only 1.5 seconds, but it does mean we have some very good pace, definitely. So maybe the car behind me also just has good pace.
Gap to Presti behind is now 2.6
Right, I'm expecting
seconds.
this car ahead to be pitting, well, probably within the next 2 laps now, because they've gone 20 minutes. So their tank will only really go another 4 or 5 minutes, and there's 9 left. That's what I mean, you know, it's 4 minutes of fuel saving is a bit tight. So they'll probably be pitting in the next 2-3 laps, I should think. We're not much quicker than them, however we are getting a bit of a draft off them, which is good. Only a little one, but obviously every little helps with that when we're trying to keep somebody behind us. I don't think he took tyres on that stop either, because he's losing quite a bit of pace, or he's trying to fuel save like crazy, in which case he's losing a lot of time. As I say, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is possible to fuel save 4 minutes in half an hour, but I just don't really think that's quite the case. Especially considering, as I said, most of this lap is on throttle all the way round, so it seems a little bit silly. But the gap behind is staying at about 3.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds. It was 2.5 last time around, it's 2.7 now, so it's a little bit up and down actually, between 2.5 and 2.7, which is absolutely fine. You can see there, Karma 14 Mazda's pitting, by the looks of it, unless that was a mistake, because they're not in the pits. It was a mistake, or they're going to pit next time by, either one. Right, gap, car behind us must have, actually no, they didn't make a mistake, it was just what corner we were on, I think. Gap's 2.7 seconds, we've really caught up to this guy now, which is not really it's not good, because I don't want
just done a 123.5
to be held up by them, if we can help it. We broke a little bit too late then. I just don't want to be held up by this person, because I have a feeling they're going to have to pit again, so I don't want to battle them. I mean, there's only 7 minutes left now, so they've done 22 minutes on that tank, so I think they should really be pitting next time by, because obviously a lap is 1 minute and 20 seconds, so that's 2 minutes 40 seconds. They probably could go one lap and then another lap if they've done good. The thing is, if they don't let me by, that probably indicates they're planning on going to the end. You know, otherwise they probably would just let me by for the sake of their safety. Whee! Who's that? That's a lap car. Okay. Did not expect that. Oh, this is not good. 2.5 seconds. That gap is going to start coming down, I think, as I get caught up behind this guy. Doesn't look like he's trying to pit this lap, though. Oh, this is not what I need, though. This really isn't what I need. He's not going to make... Right, one more lap this guy can do, I think, and then he'll have to pit. Surely. But he's angry. But yeah, surely I'll have to pit. You know, I can't not pit.
Alright, Morgan.
He can't not pit. Seriously. Oh, there you go. I think... In fact, he may be letting me by.
Still there. Clear left. Good job, buddy.
Oh, there, look, he's not even trying. He's not trying to get a switchback. I think that's it. I think he's trying to let me by, although that does confirm, even if he doesn't pit, I should still be able to get second place.
I'll pick you up after the race.
Although the fact that I think he literally broke earlier than he needed to. He definitely yielded in the braking zone a little bit, which kind of suggests to me that he knows that he's going to have to pit. Otherwise he probably, if it were going to the end and there's only 6 minutes left, you'd fight that, I'd fight it. 6 minutes is not a very long time to fight a position, and given how little overtaking opportunities there are here,
this is good. We'll be on
you've got a chance of doing that. I definitely try to defend that, so he's probably going to have to pit this lap, I'd imagine. Maybe he can go one more if he's done good fuel saving, but I don't imagine he's going much further than that. Okay, he's gone one lap further, or he'll suddenly run out of fuel. I mean, he's now done. Yeah, he's now done about, 25 minutes on his tank. He has now done 25 minutes, so he can probably,
Don't be distracted. Defend your position. P2, sectors 1 and 3,
he's not going for me,
off the
that's
pace.
the thing.
Sector 2 is 0.8 off the pace.
And the gap behind car number 3 has come down a little bit, which is obviously not what we really want. However, there's not long left, so hopefully we can... Obviously now I can probably push away. That lap was a bit slow because of the fact that I was trying to get past somebody and everything. But I'll be well pleased with second place. But obviously we're only the 4th best Mazda, so that'll be really good for iRacing.
I'll the most progress.
Alright, the gap to car number 3 has stayed about the same again now. Now I'm out of trouble. Right, this guy behind me is actually sticking with me in the draft, but I just don't get how he can go any further than this lap. You know, like he pitted 11 minutes into the race. I just don't get how you can make it that far. And he has not been fuel saving. Like, I'm pretty sure he's been pushing. Okay, he goes one more lap. Well, maybe it's a good idea we got past him then. He must run out on this lap. He must run out. I mean, there's 3 minutes left. Still. I think maybe he's just trying his luck. In the hope that he might be able to do it. But I don't know, I just somehow doubt that. And we're able to keep him behind fairly easily. And that's the thing, he's not really attacking us. It's like he just knows. I'm not going the quickest I can right now.
10 minutes of fuel remaining.
Obviously, the tyres will have gone back, you know, the tyres will have become slightly more second-hand now. I honestly thought he'd run out of fuel then, behind. I just saw him dropping back. I'm sorry, but how has he not run out of fuel? I mean, I guess count the formation lap, and you could do an extra lap, I guess. Oh, has he run out? Has he run out? Or I think he just made a mistake. I don't know, he's dropping back. He's definitely dropping back.
2 minutes to go, 2 minutes.
But has he, I think he's fuel saving maybe. I think he's fuel saving, like he's still going though, he has dropped back quite a bit.
Seriously, man, watch the way you reverse back on the track next time.
Right, the thing is, you've still got this lap to do, and then another one again, like it's just... I don't get how the fuel is going that long. I'm only on 10% of a tank, and I went 9 minutes longer than him, and I'm on 10%. I mean, you know, surely, because in 10 minutes this thing uses up more than 10% of the tank, so he's either done magical fuel saving or something. Or he's like hacked the game to take more fuel, obviously, because this car can technically carry probably about, you know, an hour and a half's worth of fuel. It can definitely take that much. But they've got a limit on it where this thing can only carry, I think, 34% of a tank this week to force you into doing a stop. But normally there isn't a restriction on that. There's only a restriction in the pit stop races. Right, he's fallen a second back, so I think he's doing rapid fuel saving. In fact, actually, he may have run out now. 1.3 seconds behind. He's massively fallen back, like half a second. He's fuel saving, I think. I don't know. 1.4 now, the gap. Okay, 1.7. Alright, I think... I don't know, I can't tell. He hasn't pitted, but he's fallen back a ton. Honestly, he's probably lifting and coasting in corners. This is the last lap now.
Last lap.
He's lifting and coasting in corners, I think. That's what it is. Well, in the end, then, maybe it's good that we got past him. I don't know how he's made 29 minutes on a fuel tank, but he's done it, I think. Yeah. He's done it. Obviously, I've only got 9% left, you know? I haven't got a lot left. I mean, I haven't been fuel saving, obviously. I've just been hammering it, which is the quicker way to do it. Because obviously I'm ahead of him, so it's quite clearly quicker. Shit about the one incident, honestly, if we hadn't messed up the pit stops, you know, if we had, oh my god, I think he's run out, he's 2.2 seconds away now. Or he's just going, oh no, he hasn't run out, he's going very slowly, because he's fallen back an absolute ton. Oh, there you go. He just said go past me. He's out.
Behind is increasing. It's now.
Yeah, there he is. He's out of fuel.
Just 2 minutes left.
He's out of fuel. 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8. There we go. There we go. He's out of fuel. I knew he couldn't make it. I knew he couldn't make it from that stage. Well, there we go. That has got us a very nice second place.
Well, thank you.
That has got us a very good second
Great
place.
drive. That's a podium.
There we go. There we are. Wow. There we go, guys. after all of that, he did run out of fuel. I knew he couldn't have made it. He got further than I thought, I'll be honest. Glad. Good. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a cool game, this. It's
Nice
a really...
job, Aurelian.
The multiplayer racing that you have... I mean, to be honest, this was probably one of the most boring ones that I don't know what that guy's doing on the voice chat. But that was really, really good. There we go. Right, we just need to wait now about 30 seconds to see how we did, and then we'll... but yeah, okay, if we gain 0.19... Yeah. I know, some people on the voice chat get really angry as well. It's quite funny. But yeah, I don't know. If we gain 0.19 safety rating, that'll be into B class early. Have we done it? Yes, we have done it, guys. We have done it. Right, let's have a look. I've been trying for weeks to do this. 56 iRating, and we got in to B class as well. That's really good. Really quick, actually. Only, in fact, we were the quickest Mazda, I think, out of anybody. Oh, never mind, actually. Car number 7 pipped us to it a little bit. He ended up finishing good. He lost a good lot of positions there. But there we go. That is really, really good in the end. You can see how varied the split. I think there was only one split in the end. You can see how varied it is. You know, you got people on 900 iRating. I'm up to 2740, which is really good. 2740 iRating, that's decent. I mean, car number 1, 4000 iRating almost, so you've got to expect that. But there we go, B class. I've been trying for that for weeks, and it's gone wrong every single time. But there we go. This week came along at Summit Point. I already knew the track, and nice long race to build up safety rating, and there we go. I'll probably not play iRacing for the rest of the day now, because I'm like, yes! Don't ruin it, although I can't really get demoted again. You have to go, it has to go under 1 to get demoted immediately. In fact, if I just restart iRacing, it should now show my stats on B class. My safety rating would have gone down by 1 because I've gone into B class. But there we go. That is really good. I do enjoy iRacing. It's good fun. There you go. B class. That unlocks pretty much all of the road series now. There's very little in the way of A class stuff on here for road. You can see there's literally 1 series. So B class unlocks a number of stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of it is team racing, which I can't do. But we've got quite a bit of cool road series. We've unlocked the VRS GT Sprint series and the Formula 3.5 Championships. There's a good bit there that we've unlocked. Definitely the GT3 Challenge I want to have a go at. But there we go. That is really good. Also, there's an endurance challenge. There's all sorts actually on here. But there we go. B class. I'm probably not going to get any. I'm probably never going to get to A class really. But that's really, really good. I hope everyone enjoyed this stream. The next stream will be tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing a little bit of flying. For the rest of the day, I'm not going to be touching iRacing Road. I'm probably going to be doing maybe some dirt oval or something off camera, obviously. But there you go, guys. Hope you really enjoyed. I'll leave you. You can see actually there's confirmation of my B class rating. There we go. I'll leave you with the background music and the end screen. That was really fun. I didn't think we'd get B class, especially with that little hiccup that we hit there. But there we go, B class. That's really, really, really good. Anyway, guys, hope you really enjoyed, and I will leave you with the background music and the end screen. Bye-bye!